Welcome everyone. That's better. Oh, how's everyone doing? Last weekend of the F1 calendar. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Lots to talk about today, I assume. Of everything that's happened over the last week or so. Hey, Fatima, how's it going? Welcome. Oh. Hey, boss, how's it going, buddy? Don't know why that keeps stopping the chat box. Should be working now. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Not just too long ago woke up. Didn't realise practice was this early. I've got a day off work, so I thought, jump in and stream the practice one session as it's the last race of the year. Try and get in as many sessions as we can. I won't be able to do the afternoon, but yeah, we'll be here tomorrow as well. Just have a little chat with you guys. Right, I'm hoping chat works now. So I'm just waiting for the timing sheets to update. We've got 7 minutes until practice one. We've got some young drivers getting their runs in this morning as well. Logan Sargent trying to get an additional super license point again. We've got, who we got here? We've got Jack Doohan running as well. And Fittipaldi. We've got, is that right? Kubica? He's not in the young drivers program. He's like 36. How is he driving? Liam Lawson is running Max's car this morning in the Red Bull. Felipe Drogovic, Pato Award. So yeah, a few young drivers getting their last runs in this morning. Hey, Alia, sorry. My day's going, but I can't go because you have finals. Do your finals at the track. Everything's remote now these days anyway, isn't it? Right. Let's put that there. I'm just sorting out the track for you guys. Track map. Everything is basically up and ready to go. Alea. Oh, Alea. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Alea. We had someone in work like that as well. Her name is spelled A-L-I-A-H. And everyone said it about 3 or 4 different ways. Even she was just like, yeah, it's fine. You wish. Well, let's hope for a decent race at this weekend. There's the only thing really left to play for still is, of course, second place with Perez and Leclerc. Alpine have pretty much wrapped up, albeit an absolute shocker for them where they pretty much finish outside the points or they retire, have wrapped up P4 in the Constructors. Mercedes and Ferrari, who wants second in the championship? We'll see. I have seen that apparently Mercedes have had to trim. They've had to do a bit of DIY on one of their rear wings to ensure that they can make it suitable for this weekend. So they might not be as strong as what they were last weekend in Interlagos because the DRS is very powerful here, as you guys know, with those long straights. So, any predictions? Yeah, as we were just saying, I think this is the swan song to Red Bull's year. I think they'll turn up their engines, and I think they'll easily get a 1-2 here this weekend. We'll see the resurgence of them. Clearly, Interlagos just didn't really suit them. I think the setup, only having an hour to dial in the setup last weekend due to the sprint race, hurt them. Whereas they're going to have 3 races this time, 3 practice sessions this time around. I think that's going to play a factor. So, fully expect a resurgence of Red Bull to do an easy 1-2. Max Verstappen win. And yeah, whoever comes up behind, probably Mercedes, because I think Ferrari are going to sandbag and try and get that extra wind tunnel time to finish third in the constructors. I think that's what they're going to do. Hey, John. iRacing missed Apex podcast again. Spanners just hasn't got the time to do it, unfortunately. The F1 podcast is just taking up too much of his time. At the moment, he's touring Europe with his family. So if he's doing any podcasts, he's doing it remotely. That's how committed he is to the F1 podcast. But yeah, iRacing is just, there's too much going on at the moment for him to do it. He has got plans to, as you've seen, there's been some guest hosts or other members of the panel hosting when he's not been available. So I think that's kind of how it's going to go. So that will probably eventually allow him to concentrate on other areas of the Missed Apex podcast. So I'll have to give him a nudge. And see where he's at with it. You're from the UAE. I remember you telling me, Fatima. I do remember. I've got a good memory. I do remember names. You at least get to see the fireworks. Ah, damn. Big respect for Max, what he achieved this year. However, his driving style could be so dangerous from time to time, and him winning so much this year has made racing a little bit boring. Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I think we saw last weekend that he's still... The big question at the start of the year was, how is Max going to race against someone like Charles Leclerc? Is he going to treat Charles the same as what he did Lewis? And the question is no, because he clearly gave Charles more respect. The first time we've truly seen Max and Lewis go wheel to wheel this year was last week, and we saw what happened. And clearly, Lewis, while I think he personally could have left a bit more room, I understand why it's Max's fault. And as I said, changed my opinion on it once you saw the data and how fast he actually went in at that angle of attack. Wasn't quite obvious at the time from the camera angles that we were shown. Lewis is clearly got the mindset of, I'm not backing out anymore. Like, nah, fuck you. With all due respect, like that's his attitude. And Max is clearly, after his comments after the race as well, he clearly said, I saw the gap closing and I wasn't backing out. So clearly there's no love lost between those two. And if we get if they're the 2 fastest men next year on track, we're going to see fireworks once again. So yeah, maybe, John. For me, it's just time. Once again, time. Practice session's underway. Jesus. Okay. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Practice session is underway. There's me just chattering. Yeah, for me, it's just time. Like, I'd love to do a league, an iRacing league on F1. But I just don't get enough time at the moment. I'm doing university as well, so I've got assignments to do. I work full time, so doing the videos and kind of like these streams at the weekend, they work in my schedule at the moment. And of course, I have a beautiful girlfriend that I have to spend time with and keep happy as well. So, yeah, maybe one day. I haven't seen Dory for a while, actually. I know he was getting engaged. He got engaged, and I think he was getting married. So I think Dory himself, because he got up to similar level subs I'm at the moment, and I think he ended up life just took over for him. So Max didn't even push the gap. He's already well judged. So he just wanted to crap on Lewis's race. Yeah, he wanted to prove himself, didn't he? That's the thing. So I feel like he didn't see a rival in Lewis in early season. No, Lewis wasn't a rival because the car was so slow. The car was so slow. Hey, Hamo, welcome, buddy. Really homework back next year, big time. Car seems like it'll be ready, and they understand how to make it fast now. Yes, well, they Toto Wolff and their technical. I can't remember what his name is. The technical officer, head of tech. Sometimes does the interviews instead of Toto. Not James Vowles, the other guy. He was on it last weekend, but he said he ended up. He said they spent an extra 3 months or so on developing the car, like to gain an understanding of why the car was going wrong. And they said that was important to do because this is a whole new set of regulations that are going to be used for the next 5 to 6 years. And it was important for them to understand why their car was so slow so that they don't make those mistakes again. They said it's cost them development time in regards to next season's car, but clearly that understanding has allowed them to improve towards the end of the season and given everyone hope that they can at least get back up to the front of the grid next year. Especially with Red Bull's wind tunnel penalty for next year as well. They'll be on pretty similar pace at the start of next year, Red Bull, because they've already done probably most of their development and they've already got a good handle on the regulations at the moment. So if anything, in a drop-off of pace, we would see at the end of next year and the start of 2024. That's when it will really affect them. My map is better than everyone else's. Yeah, well, that's because it's the F1 officials app. I pay for F1 Live, so everyone else uses a free one, but I thought this is proper. This is clean. I like a clean stream. Whenever I watch people's streams, I like clean streams. I don't like it when there's a load of this information overload and stuff. Sometimes that can just detract away from what you're actually watching. So, where is Carlos Fatima? So this is practice 1, and we have the young drivers program being completed today. So anyone who hasn't given allocated time to a young driver this year, they have to at least give up 1 practice session per year, all the teams, in each car, to a young driver so that they get an opportunity to go out on track and run a modern day F1 car. Because limited, you're not allowed really to do any practice away from the practice sessions outside of F1. So it makes it even difficult for drivers to come in and be good from the get-go. So we have got today, we've got Fittipaldi, who is Haas's reserve driver. We've got Robert Schwartzman back in the Ferrari. We have got Drogovic in the Aston Martin, who will be their reserve driver next year. Robert Kubica really surprises me because he's not a young driver. He's older than me. He's in his mid-30s. Don't know how he managed to get away with that one. Pato O'Ward in the McLaren. Jack Doohan in the Alpine. And I think... and Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent as well. Important weekend for Logan Sargent, guys, because he needs to finish in the top 6 of the F2 Championship. I think he's currently 5th. If he retires and that car goes poof, he does not get enough super license points, even with these practice sessions, to get a seat for next year. So Williams are pinning a lot on him, pinning a lot. Oh, thanks for the resub, Kaka. Thank you, buddy. Or was that a super chat? No, you've been a member for 2 months. Yes, you resubbed. Thank you, buddy. Why did that not come up? My alert box. Is my alert box shut off? Hang on a second. It is. My alert box is shut off. That's why it didn't come up. Damn it. Schumacher sacked, yes. What do I think will happen to Schumacher? So he apparently, the strong rumours were the other day, he's going to be Mercedes reserve driver, which counts out Daniel Ricciardo. Sounds like Daniel Ricciardo is possibly going to be Red Bull's reserve driver next year. To me, in all honesty, I think it's the right decision for Schumacher to move on. I just don't think, even with kind of some of the good-ish performances he's given in the second half of the season, I just don't think he's done enough to maintain that seat. Or to convince maybe someone else to get that seat. I think what really does help Schumacher, and I hate to say it, guys, because you want to judge someone personally on their own merits, but I think what will help him is the fact of it he's got the last name. I think that will help him in regards to getting another opportunity in F1. I think he'll do an Alex Albon. I think he'll be out of F1 for a year and then maybe he'll come back. It all depends. We know what the market's like. Once one driver goes, then the merry-go-round starts. Especially if there's like a retirement like Sebastian Vettel. That's really when it comes about, when a seat becomes free. So, I don't know, but next year, are we going to see anyone retire from the grid? I don't think so. Alonso definitely isn't going anywhere anytime soon, is he? Jesus. That guy's going to be driving an F1 car till he's 50. Ah, thanks, TR. It's been 2 months, Kaka. It's been 2 months. You don't have to stay up to watch F1 this weekend. Yeah, back to normal times. I've noticed a few of you actually haven't been in the streams the last few weekends because it's been evening races over here in the UK. So for you guys, obviously on the other side of the world, it's more a really early morning. I have noticed that. I've noticed that in the figures as well of people tuning in. When it's like a nice afternoon race, like I suppose that's why they try and time it for European races or European times, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Because, hey, thank you, Underwater Video, JP. I'm going to call you JP. Thanks for the sub, buddy. Everyone across the world kind of has a reasonable time to watch it, unless you're in Australia or New Zealand. Gut for Mick, hope he gets a reserve gig and gets another chance. You don't win F2 by accident. True, I will give him that. You don't win F2 by accident. I just don't think he's done it in F1. It's difficult to do when you come into a lower team because I think this year was a real yardstick for him. He had a teammate to compare himself to, Kevin Magnussen. But there's been some rumours that he hasn't been treated the same amount. Oh, thank you, Mini Mugs. He hasn't been treated with the same level of respect as Mick Schumacher. Gunther Steiner. There's been quite a few varying stories there. Mick Schumacher hasn't been happy. Strategy calls as well, and that's also gone against him. So, yeah, I think he'll get a fair shot again, and I think that's mainly due to his name. But look, you've got to take the opportunities that you can get at the end of the day. Not sure if I'm making this up, but is Perez leaving Red Bull? Maybe I dreamt that. No. So he's not leaving Red Bull. It's it's all as massive backtracking going on, isn't there? The last couple of days. This morning, I read and I even tweeted like Perez has apparently come out and said, "Oh, he regrets saying what he did over the radio and after the race about Max." Bullshit. I'm sorry, guys. Bullshit. He should not regret what he said at all. Max was completely in the wrong, regardless of what happened in Monaco. Regardless, Max has 2 World Drivers' Championships wrapped up. The Constructors is wrapped up. The only thing left to play for of any kind of importance in that team is 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship. He got asked well in advance of the last corner to let Perez through if he couldn't get Alonso. And he just ignored it and then came over the radio and said that message. And Perez should not be backtracking whatsoever. End of the day, Max would not have last year's World Championship without Perez. That's fact. That's matter of fact. And while, yes, Perez is there to be support to Max, primarily, Max doesn't win last year's World Championship without him. And you need a good teammate. Doesn't matter how good of a driver you are. You need a good teammate to come in, be there, stop the other car from making 3 pit stops, from getting the fastest laps, to chip in with podiums and to chip in with holding them up on track, to chip in with wins as well, to take points away from the other main title rival. And to me, Perez was totally within his right. So Next year is going to be spicy. That definitely has not been sorted out. Guaranteed. Love Mercedes, like Ferrari, hate Red Bull. I don't hate Red Bull fully. I don't like the team that they've become over the last couple of years, though. That they're Team Gaslight. I'm sorry if you're a big Red Bull fan in here. I welcome every single fan in here. But they are Team Gaslight the last couple of years. I mean, some of the... Christian Horner in his press conference recently about the cost cap, which conveniently no one is talking about anymore. And then that post they put up yesterday, the statement, like completely lying to everyone. It's just it's getting a bit out of hand from them, and yeah, I think even their own fans are catching on to it and going, "Hang on a second." Like, everyone likes Checo. Most fans, most reasonable fans, will understand that Perez was influential to Max winning last year. Max has even come out and said, "I would not have been able to have won the championship without him." This year, not so much, because Ferrari effed up so much that, like, Max probably would have won anyway. But Perez has still chipped in and helped this year. There's no denying that. But yeah, it's just, I can't believe that. How can you have? I think, Sir John, I do think he crashed in Monaco on purpose. I do. The data is undeniable. He slammed the throttle. He didn't counter steer. He didn't try to save the car. He's crashed on purpose. He was pissed off about Barcelona the week before, because he should have been able to have fought for that position out on track freely, but he wasn't. He was told to move over, and I understand why he did it. I do understand, and I don't know if I would do it, but I understand why he did it, because he wanted to get one over on Max. It wasn't the fact of it was for third position. It was the fact of it he would be starting ahead of Max, and he was still doing all right in the championship at that point. He was still kind of Max's closest title contender. He had a good handle on that car. He still had good pace in the car. But Barcelona was a real kick in the teeth for him, and that's why he did it. Now, yes, I can understand if Max would still I can understand Max would still be aggrieved by it. But dude, look at the bigger picture. You've got both championships wrapped up. You've got the most wins in a season of all time, the most points of all time. You're going to need his help next year. So why do that? I think it's very, as if most people have been saying, it's very short-sighted. Very short-sighted. Checo had a right to be upset. Yeah, I agree. Imagine if Checo's number one driver and Max is number two. Never get... In an alternate universe, maybe, Kaka. Not in this one, that's for sure. Max runs that team, and his camp runs that team. What's quite telling about Monaco as well, which makes me think that he ended up... he did crash on purpose, it's the only time, I'm pretty sure it's one of the only times this year that Jos Verstappen has come out to the media and spoken to them. So that's quite telling as well. Because normally, yes, he's on camera, but he doesn't really speak to the media too often. Don't hate Red Bull, but he cheated last year and robbed LH24. Well, they didn't cheat. Red Bull didn't cheat, guys. This is the thing. Max didn't cheat. Red Bull didn't cheat. This is in the last race, by the way. That was down to a decision by Michael Massey, and Red Bull benefited and Max benefited from that decision. That's the difference. So they didn't cheat. So that's a bit different. It's an official making up the rules as he went along for the sake of entertainment. That's what that was. Max benefited from it. Could quite easily have been the other way around, but it is one of the worst F1 moments, because I think it was that whole race should have been a crowning glory for F1. Never in 40 years, I think it was the last time two drivers went level on points into the last race of the season. There were so many eyes on that race, so many casuals, so many people who don't even watch the sport. and then it ended that way. For the sake of entertainment, rather than it being a fair and just winner, for the sake of entertainment value, the rules have changed for a last lap shootout, but it backfired on them because so many people went, even casuals went, that ain't right. I don't know anything about F1, but surely that's not right. Like that whole scenario. And then it was just clouded, wasn't it? It was months after that as well. And the FIA took so long. They was their own worst enemy as well because they took so long investigating it. So yeah, very it did more damage to F1 than it did good, I think, which is a real shame. So Max is a driver, not in charge of the funding and development. He helps with the development because he's a driver and he gives his feedback. So, but yeah, he's definitely not in charge of the funding. That's down to the accountants. That's down to Christian Horner divvying out the money. That's a job of a team principal looking after the budget. So right, let's have a quick look at all the practice session in front of us, guys. So Perez top of the timing sheets, exactly what I expect to see this weekend. Really, Red Bull's back to the top. Leclerc second. Lawson third in hard tyres with Max's car, by the way, guys. He's in Max's car. Ocon fourth, Tsunoda up there in fifth. So we've got a few guys on softs, mediums, hards being used. Let's have a look. Albon's up there in sixth position. Jack Doohan, not a bad time. 29.2, not too far behind his teammate, really, in comparison. Bottas, Fittipaldi, Ricciardo. Where are the Mercedes? Hamilton in 11th, doing 5 laps on hards. And then we've got Russell doing, 13th on hards as well. So, yeah, everyone just going out there, setting their times, doing their long runs, most probably. Completely different to how it was in Brazil, where they only had an hour to try their setups. Last race was TDS. People look one part of that, and it's never been brought up. No overtaking under the safety car. Max did just that. If you watch the replays, you see it happen. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that because he was alongside him, wasn't he? Which is why the rule's now been changed. But I wouldn't necessarily call that cheating. He's just hounding him, but yeah. But stuff. Remember, in Monza, the safety car never came in on the last lap. Well, it finished under the safety car. That was generally the rule. The rule was that all cars must be unlapped from the safety car, and then they go round, and then the safety car comes in the lap after. So technically, the race should have finished under the safety car, but it didn't. They only moved out the cars in between Max and Lewis. So Carlos Sainz was there in third position on fresh soft tyres as well, going, what the hell? Why am I not up behind Max? I'm racing here as well, guys. Now you can argue whether Sainz would have got involved or not, but he probably would have done, especially into that first corner where Max made that dive on Lewis. And they kind of went out wide a bit. Sainz would have had a draft on them, toe on them. Sainz would have been right up behind them and probably got involved. So it's all or nothing, really. So I know TR. You said earlier, mate. Wasn't alongside. He actually went in front only by a wing. Don't think it was a wing length. They couldn't really prove it. But then again, they were never going to penalise him just for that because they wanted that showdown. They didn't want the race to end under controversial circumstances, did they? But it did in it anyway. So a bit of a shame. Who do I think is going to get second in the championship? Perez. I think the Red Bulls will be back up to pace this weekend, and we'll see them. This track layout, guys, when you think about it, it's not too dissimilar to COTA, Circuit of the Americas, except that they haven't really got the heavy downfall section of the S's that COTA has. So you've got the 2 long DRS straights, DRS sections, the 2 long straights, 2 main overtaking opportunities, and that is really where the Red Bull is going to come into its own. It'll be similar to how COTA played out, I think. Mercedes won't have the straight line speed. Red Bull are quickest pretty much in the speed traps. So, yeah, it's going to... Abu Dhabi is always a bit of a bore fest, isn't it, guys? It's a bore fest. It shouldn't be the F1 finale. Interlagos should be the F1 finale. But we all know why. So, yeah. Alpine have pretty much got the constructors wrapped up, haven't they? Alpine have got that wrapped up. I think they're 19 points ahead, so they would both have to finish outside of the points, and Danny Rick would have to get and Lando would have to get like a podium or something. So, do I think a lot of Fernando does enough to get a 6-point swing he needs on Ocon? He's had horrific luck with reliability this year. Yeah, possibly. I mean, really, he has outperformed Ocon this year because he's had how many engine failures? I mean, Ocon's had his fair share as well. I will admit, but I think Fernando has had more reliability issues than Ocon, and if it wasn't for those, he'd be quite clearly ahead, which is mad. I mean, Fernando's a great driver. He comes out with some. He's a bit of a dick sometimes, isn't he? Like Ocon was not at fault for those 2 incidents in the sprint race, that's for sure. But yeah, doing it at 41, it shows no signs of slowing down whatsoever. So, but Drogovic out there. What's your opinions, guys? What's your opinions on Hulkenbach? What's your opinions? I know we spoke about Mick Schumacher earlier on, but we didn't speak about Hulkenbach, Mick Schumacher's replacement. What's your thoughts? I'm not too excited, if you ask me. I think it's an appointment made by their German sponsor, 1-on-1. One German driver out, another German driver in. This does happen, commercial reasons. Mick Schumacher's not their spokesperson anymore. Nico Hulkenberg is. I think that's what that is. Schumacher is the son of a legend. He deserves to be in F1. Just being the son of a legend, though, doesn't mean you're entitled to an F1 seat. Just saying. We prefer Drogovic to get a chance instead of Hulk. Yeah, So part of me understands why they Haas probably want someone a little bit more experienced. I understand that because they've gone the rookie route the last few years, and maybe they thought this year with Schumacher they didn't like the dynamic of having Magnussen as number 1 and a rookie as number 2. Maybe they just want a little bit more of stabilisation. With some more money coming in next year, because I think they said they were not operating anywhere near the cost cap, but they've got that MoneyGram sponsor, which says we'll be able to take them up to the spending of the cost cap. So they'll be able to improve, keep up the pace throughout the year next year, and development. But I don't know. I just think it's a bit of an uninspired appointment. I think Hulkenberg has had his chance. Yes, he's come in and had a couple of super sub appointments, but it shouts of a commercial decision from their sponsor. Every driver has to earn his place. Not sure what they expect from these back of the grid drivers, but change is as good as the rest. Yeah, every driver does have to earn his place. I agree. Money will always be an F1. I think we're going to see, because once Latifi goes this year, which is this last race, we're only going to have technically one officially paid driver on the grid. I say official. There's technicalities behind the others, but Lance Stroll is that last paid driver because Daddy Stroll owns the team. But the other drivers, they're in there. Some other drivers are in there for commercial reasons, and that's more of what we're going to see a shift in now. Is not the full paid up paid drivers who give a chunk of money to the team to have that seat. We're going to see commercial opportunities for drivers being in the seat because of bringing in sponsorship and stuff. I know that's kind of always been the case, but more so with drivers who necessarily aren't up to the standard of F1. They'll be in there because of that money they can bring in with sponsors and commercial opportunities, merch and stuff. So, Name forever live on in F1 currently with the car he doesn't. I think Schumacher needs to drive a better car as reserve and see what we can do. Yeah, I agree. I think that's what's going to happen with Mercedes. Who knows? An illness may happen, an injury. He may get an opportunity to step into that car for a couple of races and prove his point. Nico's got so many chances to prove his F1, but just not for it. That's my thing as well. And he's 35 as well. He's had many opportunities, and he hasn't really. He's had some flashes, hasn't he, of good performances, but he's still never had a podium. So you can argue that maybe he didn't have the car to get a podium, but there's been plenty of opportunities where he could have dragged the car to a podium and he didn't. So yes, T, I do. I race on iRacing. Mainly in the Mercedes F1 car that they've got on there, which Mercedes worked in partnership. I keep saying this every stream because I'm proud of it. I qualified for a Mercedes-sponsored event. So IWC Watches have got an event in a few weeks' time at one of their stores in London, and I'm on Team George Russell. George Russell's going to be there, and it's at his team against Jarno Opmeer's team, and I qualified for it, one of the top 8 in the UK. So yeah, it's going to be streamed live on Twitch. I'm going to put create some content on it, and go from there. You feel like at the start, K-Mag was faster. Schumacher was crashing, but Schumacher was improving, outperforming K-Mag, but Nico deserves that seat. Yeah, it's fair enough. Some people think he deserves it, some people don't. I personally don't think he deserves it, but I can see why. Maybe they wanted a more experienced head. That's why he stuck. I think Gunther Steiner likes that. I think this is the key here, is what does Gunther Steiner want? And you think he stuck by K-Mag and Grosjean for so long. Like, too long, really. And that's because he wasn't willing to take a risk on a rookie who could probably bring in a little bit more money to the team. Mazepin was kind of a smart decision in the end because their car was nothing that year. Gets banned and keeps their money. But you can see that he really wanted to stick with the experienced drivers of Grosjean and K-Mag, even though it was quite obvious that they were falling off. K-Mag having that break and coming back has revitalised him. So put Schumacher in Max car, Max in Schumacher, but all for driver's entertainment. Yeah, that'd be funny. Oh, we got a yellow flag, guys. Logan Sargent has stopped out on track. Oh no, is that a technical issue? Or is he spun? Turn 1 is a very difficult place to spin. So to me, that seems like that's a mechanical issue. That's got to be. He's moving again. He is moving. So maybe it was a spin. I haven't actually got Sky F1 up at the moment because it is. I had no headphones. Needs to get your A license before you can race in the Merc. Really enjoying Formula Renault 2.0. There's some good single seaters on iRacing. Some very good single seaters. That's pretty much all I race. I'm in VR and it's the best experience. So I'm never going to get to drive an F1 car, guys. So it's as close to driving an F1 car I'm ever going to get, and I get to do it from my dining room. He locked up and spun, did he? Yeah, I'm just loading up the stream now, actually, but I'm going to be playing it with no sound, so I won't be able to hear what the commentators are saying. Watch live, Scott. Watch live. Seems a bit of a strange place. Not really anyone. I mean, shows experience, isn't it? But no one ever really locks up. No one ever really crashes into T1. So, but let's have a look at time. So Perez is still quickest man out on track with Leclerc close behind him. Tsunoda's up there with a 27.9, which shows that Perez and Leclerc are probably running very high fuel. Sargent is up there with a 28.0. Fittipaldi, 5th. Lawson, 6th, only running hard tyres. Ocon is in 7th with a 28.5. Albon's quite far up there. Schwartzman in 10th. He's had a few opportunities this year in the Ferrari, isn't he? Bottas, Ricciardo. Ricciardo's last race, guys. Ricciardo and Vettel's last race. Sad times. And Djokovic at the bottom there. I race on PC, yeah. Yeah, sometimes I stream it. Yeah, you can go onto my channel. I've got videos up there. I've actually raced against Mick Schumacher online. I've raced against Antonio Giovinazzi. I've crashed into Oscar Piastri. There's a whole video on that. I've been in the same practice sessions as Max. I've been in the same practice sessions as Lando. Haven't raced against them though. Oh, I've raced against Drogovic before. I've raced against Felipe Drogovic. He's always racing on there in between races. I think Jack Doohan's on iRacing as well. I haven't come across him. Enzo Fittipaldi. He's a little bugger, he is. Always calling me out on stream, he was, Enzo. Who's now in F2 and just a Red Bull Junior driver. So, good lad, though. Stopped up in rears, but stopped inches short of the barrier, meaning session would be able to carry on without issue. Perfect. Maybe a bit of tyre temperature issues. Do I think Hulkenberg is good? I think he's okay. I don't think he's good. I'm sorry, I wouldn't say he's great. I think he's okay. I think he'll go in there and he'll do a solid job. That's about it. I think Magnussen is really where they'll probably put all their eggs. They'll put all their eggs in Magnussen's basket. Hulkenberg will be like the steady Eddie. And Magnussen's where they'll try and get that raw pace out of it and try and get those extra points. At the end of the day, Magnussen's been his own worst enemy this year. He should have considerably more points than he does. I think we say this quite a lot, but he's been caught out. Oh, Vettel's slowing down. Is that just letting people through? Yeah, just letting people through. He's got caught up in a number of first lap incidents where he's had to pit due to damage, or he's like spun off due to those incidents at the start. So I get if he just reined it in just a touch, he would have had so many more points. But did I win against Schumacher? No, I came behind him. He came second, I came third. So is iRacing what they use as a simulator? In their spare time, yes. Not in the actual simulators themselves. They're official simulators. I think they use like a professional version of R Factor 2. Like it's tailored to them specifically. So every team has approached R Factor 2 and they've like created their own one for the team. But yeah, in their own time, everyone pretty much races iRacing. Max is always on it, isn't he? So I mean, he loves his sim racing. Danny Rook should stay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've been clear. I think for him personally, I think a year out of the sport would just be good to clear his head. He's clearly like that. That McLaren just toys with his emotions, and I think the team has not supported him well enough either. And he needs to just get out, clear his head, go to a different team. Yeah, even if it is a reserve driver, go to a different team, get an opportunity to drive another car, get your confidence back, and then put the feelers out there again to try and get a spot for 2024. Hey, Master, how's it going, buddy? Can you take the G-Force like F1 drivers? No chance. No chance. I'm too unfit. I'll happily stay here. I can race and drink coffee at the same time. You can't do that in a proper race car. I'm 6'2", so deceiving because you always see me sitting down. But there's long legs under here that you can't see. What do I think about women joining F1? Go for it. Yeah, to be honest, it doesn't matter what your gender, what your background is. If you're quick enough, then you should be in F1. You should be given an opportunity, first and foremost. I think that's it. So, am I British? Yes. Can you tell? Can you tell from the accent? Yeah, I'm from just outside London in a place called Essex. Anyone who's in the UK or knows of the UK will know where Essex is and the reputation that they kind of have. You can hear it in my accent. That's where my accent is from. So it's like, oh, shut up, that sort of stuff. But right, let's have a look a few more times. So how are the young drivers doing? So Drogovic is at the bottom at the moment. Seems like he's only run hard tyres. He's very well positioned, Drogovic. Like, as in a seat. There's no seat. There was no seat available for him. So he's the Aston Martin reserve driver. Most likely there's going to be fireworks with Fernando Alonso there. Who knows what Lance Stroll is going to do with... or Lawrence Stroll, sorry, is going to do with that team. He may sell him on. He may get bored. And then that means that his son, Lance, is going to be vulnerable to losing his seat. I've got Kubica, who still amazes me that he's in this today. At the bottom, 19th in the Alpha. Doohan, 18th. I'm surprised Doohan doesn't set. I'd be interested to see... So he's now on soft tyres. I'd be interested to see what the lap times that Doohan can set. Because there's a lot of hype around Doohan. He's got a lot of pace in F2. Keep an eye on him. See if he can put some decent lap times in. Now he's in that soft tyre. I think this is his second practice session of the year. How old am I? 31. I know, I don't look it, guys. I don't look it. You love from Pakistan and love England. Oh, nice one, Tia. Are you from in Pakistan at the moment, or are you in England at the moment? I'm sorry. Well, actually, I'm not sorry, but it was a good cricket final, though, wasn't it? It was a good T20 final. I did watch that. It did come down to the end. Ben Stokes, our man, just made the difference, didn't he? Lance has average pace, just needs to stop crashing. Well, he needs to stop pulling out in front of drivers as well and driving them off track, Gurney. Because did you see what he did to Vettel last week? He literally drove him off track onto the grass, like ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Are you in England, are you, Avas? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I bet it was a good final, at least. It was a good final. Your main... I keep an eye on cricket. I'm not avidly into it. But, yeah, it was a shame, wasn't it? Was it your star man? Your star man got injured. Picked up that ankle injury, so that could have made the difference towards the end. But it was like that 1 over, wasn't it? It was like space of 2 overs coming towards the end where we just got like 20 odd runs, 24 odd runs, and it was just like swung in our favour. So everyone's struggling at T1. Yeah, probably. So remember these practice sessions, on the Friday, they happen in cooler. I say cooler temperatures. No, it's not cooler, is it? It's hotter temperatures because it's during the day. So clearly maybe not enough rubber set down on the track yet. Tyres possibly overheating as well as they go into that corner, because that is T1 is, I would say, is the corner where really the largest load is put onto the tyres. Turn 3 is more of a swooping corner, not too much load put on there. Maybe turn 15 and turn 1 are where the load is mostly on those tyres, and they come out of that last sector where the tyres are probably quite hot and there's not enough grip out there at the moment. So a 3D, he's a good bowler. Yeah, that's the one. Stokes is a legend. Yeah, he is. He's a good guy. Missing like 3 players. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't keep up to date with the cricket too much. There's some names in there that I'm not too familiar with. But yeah, it was close, man. It was close. It was good to watch. Leclerc at a snap and Perez, yeah. So this this track is more. I think it's more harder on the rear tyres, because when you think about it, you've got this big fast section is going to be more on the fronts, but it's not too load heavy. As you go down into turn 5, obviously the hairpin, you need the traction out of the rears. Same again for turn 6 and turn 7. Turn 9 is kind of a bit of both. This section here is more the fronts. So generally speaking, when you've got the faster swooping corners, that's where the load is put more on the front tyres. And then when you've got the slower corners, that's where you need the grip from the rear tyres. And there's more kind of slower corners here where you need that rear tyre grip, especially through turn 15 is where you need the front tyres, and then turn 16 is where you need the rears. So yeah, it's more harder on the rears than it is the fronts here. Only slightly though. India lost so badly against England, did they? I didn't even know it was going on, to be honest. I just knew that all of a sudden there was a final on Sunday. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll tune into that. Only 2 heavy braking zones, but multiple heavy acceleration corners to definitely rear tyres. Yes, exactly. Who do you think will be the best quality lap then, Max? As I said, they're gonna turn up the engines unless Leclerc pops something in, but he'll lose it in the race. They don't have the tyre degradation. Hamilton's now on the soft, so it'd be interesting to see what Hamilton does on his laps. He's caught up in a bit of traffic behind Ocon at the moment, though. But what we got? 17 minutes left of this session. 17 minutes. So 26.8 is the fastest at the moment. Let me have a look. Does anyone know? I'm going to have a quick check. Oh, thank you for the sub, Putia. I hope I pronounced that right. What the fastest lap time was last year in regards to qualifying? Let's have a quick look to see in comparison. The cars are slightly slower this year than they were last year. But I would like to see the 2021 races. Come on. Abu Dhabi. I just loaded it up and it came to the bottom and it had Mazepin. Those are the memories. So fastest lap last year was a 22.1 to put it in comparison. Practice 1 fastest lap last year was a 25.0. So we're still probably about a second to improve here in regards to fastest times. Kubica went P7. Oh yeah. I'm surprised Sonoda's up there. So this just shows really that the top teams are not sandbagging, but they're doing their long runs. They've got high fuel. They're not. This isn't where they're setting their lap times. They're dialing in their setups and trying to get a feel of the car. So George is now on the softs as well. So probably come in, made their setup changes, and there we go. Hamilton goes top with a 26.6, quicker than Leclerc. So that bodes well. That bodes well. Maybe, obviously, we don't know what fuel loads they're running, but Hamilton and the Mercedes aren't that far off the pace then, it seems. We had to see FP2. That's representative. Yeah, that's more representative. Unfortunately, I'm out this afternoon. So I won't be able to do that watch along for you guys. I will be back tomorrow doing practice 3 and qualifying. And of course the weekend, because it's the last race of the year. Last race of the year. You just subscribe, TR, but stuff he doesn't know. Yeah, YouTube's a bit strange like that, TR. Unless you have your subscribers on public, like your subscriber list, you can decide to whether to have it private or public. It won't come up as an alert. So yeah, anyone who has subbed during this stream and it hasn't come up as an alert, big thank you. But yeah, if you have it public, it'll come up as an alert. So yeah. We're not allowed to change setup anymore. Qualifying. So this is why I think the Mercedes outdid the Red Bull last week as well. Another element is that there was only an hour in the sprint race weekends. You have 1 hour in practice 1 to sort out your setup, and then it's part firme. You're not able to touch your setup for the rest of the weekend because you go straight into qualifying, practice 2, and then of course you have the race on Sunday. So you have the sprint race and then you have the race on Sunday. So Red Bull didn't dial their setup in quick enough in that hour session. Max was on the radio, I remember, complaining about the turning, complaining about the tyres, and I just don't think they were able to get the right setup. But let's keep an eye on Lawson now. So Lawson is in Max Verstappen's car, guys, and he is now doing a lap Russell up to the top of the timing sheets as well. So we've got Mercedes 1-2 on the practice session timing sheets, 26.8, only 2 tenths slower. So the Mercedes up there. But let's see how Lawson does. And he's going to catch some traffic, I think, on his fastest lap. So unfortunately, this won't be representative unless Ocon and Hamilton get out of the way. They might do. I'm sure they would have been told. Yeah, Hamilton's into the pits. So, okay, we're going to see Lawson's lap time. And Lawson does Lawson does a 27.2. So 5.5 tenths away from Hamilton. Oh, thanks, TR. Well, if you have a channel, keep at it, mate. Keep at it. Kubica World Champion driver, it's just the accident ruined it. I think you should replace Schuf. Alpha don't need sponsor money anymore. No, see, Gurney, I totally agree with you. Kubica was a world champion driver until that rally accident. But sadly, I think his time is over. He got given an opportunity in the Williams, didn't he? And he got out qualified by Russell every single time. I think his opportunity is gone now. He's in his mid-30s as well. He's not young anymore. I think he'll just forever be around the team as like a reserve driver. Sorry, voice going now. Still got love for the torpedo. Yeah, well, Kvyat. Do you know what? Kvyat's been hard done by. I think he was hard done by to lose his seat in Alpha. Thank you, Phil. I think he was hard done by to lose his seat in the AlphaTauri. And of course, the Russian ban has meant that he's not able to race at the moment, which is a shame. Which is a shame because I think he's someone who's always been underrated and never got really the recognition he deserved. I thought at the time he was unfairly lost his seat at Red Bull to Max. He got caught up in a couple of incidents, but the torpedo incident with Vettel, where he got the nickname, was a totally fair move. There was nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And then, yes, he did nudge Vettel in Russia, but overall, I think he's been a pretty solid driver and deserved more opportunities. Thanks, Stitch. Thanks for sub, guys. Anyone else who hasn't? Has. If you can hit the like button as well, guys, because it helps push the stream. Oh, wow, they're all flying in. Leroy Jenkins. Sorry, I just had to say it that way, buddy. Will I commentate on Sunday? Yes. I will be here tomorrow for practice free, if I can. I think I'm here for tomorrow for practice free. Definitely here for qualifying, and I'll be here for the race on Sunday. It's the last race of the year, guys. I'm not going to miss it. Not going to miss it. Who do I think is going to win? We said it already. I think Max. Max isn't running this session because of the Young Drivers Program. But you can tell how quick of a car that is, though. Because Lawson, who I don't think he's had really any running properly in a Red Bull this year. I think he got an opportunity in Perez's car, but I think there was a technical issue. Has jumped straight into that car and has done a 27.2. That's taking nothing away from Max, guys. But you can tell how good of a package they've delivered this year with Lawson jumping up near the top of the timing sheets with a time like that. Merc straight line speed has improved. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've figured something out, haven't they? Figured something out. I hope Merc is up there because I'd like to see a fight this weekend. Abu Dhabi's always boring, isn't it? Really. Even last year's race fizzled out quite quickly. If it wasn't for the safety car, Hamilton would have won that race by 12 seconds, 15 seconds. So they brought an upgrade that's improved the straight line speed. Yeah, well, there was a draggy car, wasn't they? It wasn't the fact that they had a lack of power. It's the fact that they were too draggy down the straights. So they needed to make it more streamlined, and it seems that they've been able to do that. And that's mainly down to their philosophy of the car with the side pods. Their no side pods concept has been displacing the air kind of in a way that makes it draggier rather than the Red Bull and the Ferrari with their side pods. Do you think Max was right last weekend? No, I don't. I don't, guys. I've made my opinions on this quite clear. Yeah, I don't think he was whatsoever. He had. You can argue Monaco, but really, dude, as we said at the start, really, like, you're holding a grudge over Monaco, and that's your payback. Look at the bigger picture. You need Checo. Like, you need him. You wouldn't have won last year's championship without him. He's helped this year as well. Arguably, you still would have won it because Ferrari were useless. But he still helped out this year. You'll need his help again, more so next year, with Mercedes looking like they're going to be back at the front. Ferrari are making personnel changes by the sounds of it, with Binotto rumoured to be gone. So you're going to need Checo. You can't do it all on your own. And it's incredibly short-sighted. And contrary to Red Bull's statement, they let him know plenty time in advance that he should have let Checo back past. Wasn't the last corner. No chance. We've all heard the radio messages. So, as code where you run an engine, I think they changed the code to push it more. Ah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's the last race of the year. They'll probably turn up their engine, won't they? Mercedes can get second place in the constructors. It's whether if they want to, though. So the big difference between finishing second and third, I can't remember the percentage difference, but results in... So you get more prize money for finishing second, but you get less wind tunnel development time or aerodynamic testing time next year. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any games played between Ferrari and Mercedes this race. If Mercedes think they've got the genuine pace to win the race, they'll go for the win. But if they don't, they'll probably... it wouldn't surprise me if we see some games. So I'm intrigued by that this weekend. I know he really won the championship and he got helped in the last. Also should have just helped him. I think third is better, to be honest, for constructors. It's better, yeah, of course it is. Merc don't need the money. Ferrari don't need the money. They'll both want third in the championship. So, is it 5%? Yeah, I mean, that will matter. That will matter big time. Opinions on Schumacher leaving. I think he deserved another year since he was improved his second year. Don't count 21 on Haas as a car. Yeah, we spoke about this earlier on. I feel like he hasn't done enough this year consistently. Yes, he improved in the second half of the year, but I don't think he's done enough to warrant maintaining his seat this year. Just a bit disappointed that it's Hülkenberg replacing him and not someone else. I don't know who else I would suggest, but we said, like, I'll mention it briefly once more. They've got a German sponsor, a big German sponsor, 1&1. And that was the main reason why Schumacher was put in Haas in the first place, because they wanted a German driver. Of course, there's the name behind it as well. And Hülkenberg, I think, has been put in there for the same reason. One, he's a steady pair of hands, and they can probably play around with Magnussen as their number one driver and use him as the quicker driver and the better strategies. And then Hülkenberg can just be that steady Eddie who hopefully picks up the points for him. I think that's what their aim is, but I think it's mainly been appointed. One German driver out, one German driver in, because one of their big three sponsors is German. So, start Super Chat. I have got Super Chat turned on. You can do Super Chat. I'm pretty sure you can. But we've only got 34 likes, guys. Come on. Can we get to 100 likes? There's nearly 300 of you in here. Hit that like button. It helps push the stream. So we've only got just under 5 minutes left of the session, guys. So practice one session, as you know, not too much happens. Not really too much to talk about other than kind of what's happening off the track. Hey, True. Sorry, buddy. I wasn't ignoring you. I didn't see you. I'm all good, mate. Yourself? Good to see you again. So yes, let's just have a look. So Drogovic. Oh, okay. So Drogovic is at the bottom. Compared to Vettel, look at that. 1.4 seconds off of Vettel's time. But he is in Lance Stroll's car, so they might have turned everything down for Drogovic. It's like you can't ruin the boss's son's car. So Doohan not really been able to set a proper lap time, so he's going to catch traffic again now. So Doohan not really getting a a comparative time to, say, Ocon. So we'll see. He's on his outlap at the moment. Pato Award, IndyCar driver, Fittipaldi, Magnussen, Sargent, Kubica. So it'd be interesting to watch the F2 races tomorrow, guys, because there is a lot riding on that in regards to Logan Sargent. Seb stands in the garage with a picture on young Seb. Ah, nice one. Did you see they all went out for dinner last night, didn't they? That was a good photo, a good couple of photos. That was nice to see all the drivers together. Not often you see that. Outside of the track as well. Just shows how much respect Seb has up and down the grid and how much of like a nice guy he is. Like, I must admit, in the early years, I wasn't a fan of Seb. I didn't like him. But as he's got older, he's matured a lot more, and I really do like him. Like, even when he was fighting Hamilton, I was like, I like Seb now. I still wanted Hamilton to win, but I liked Seb. I didn't like him when he was in Red Bull. I don't think that was because of the team. I just think that was because of just the way he was in Red Bull, and then he left the team. And I don't know, he just grew. So, Georgetown in South America. Oh, good to see you, Jamal. What time is it there? You're up early.
Here comes the money.
Thank you, Kaka. Thank you as always, buddy. That scared me there. I need to turn my alerts down because they're a little bit loud. So sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm not ignoring anyone, TR. I'm not ignoring anyone. When you come through, there's a lot of you to go through. I try and catch everyone, but I'm trying to keep up to date with the data. Get everything across to you guys. Can I show the sector times? Yes, I can. There we go. The thing is, it only shows sector times from their last lap, not from their fastest lap, which is a bit disappointing. But I highly recommend anyone purchasing this as well because it's great. It's like £2 a race, £2 English a race. Hamilton's back out. You like the alerts? It's 7 a.m. Okay, not too early then. Not too early. The Red Bull curse, Aaron. There's a common theme, isn't there, with drivers in Red Bull? Who's my favourite driver? So I get asked this every single... I'm going to have this. So next year, guys, I'm going to get a sweatshirt. I'm going to get a hoodie. Or I'm going to get T-shirts with who my favourite drivers are because I get asked this every single race. Hey, Christian, thank you for your sub, buddy. So, no surprise, I'm British. I support the British drivers. Glenn Roy, thank you for the sub. I support the British drivers, first and foremost. You can call that British bias, however you want to see it. It's up to you. But Lewis, George, Lando, Alex Albon, even though he races under the tyre flag. McLaren's probably my favourite team. I grew up watching McLaren. My granddad was a big racing fan. Remember the years of watching Mika Hakkinen. He was probably my favourite driver growing up. Alex, thank you for the sub, buddy. And then I have other drivers which I like as well. I really like Vettel now, as I said. Tommy, subslining, thank you guys. I really like Sebastian Vettel, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc. I wouldn't call myself a Ferrari fan, but I'm a fan of those drivers. I like Checo. Who else is there? I like Gasly. Really highly rate Gasly. I'm hoping he does well next year in Alpine. Danny Rick as well. But yeah, I mean, Max. I'm not Max's biggest fan, as you can probably guess, but I appreciate that he's a really quick driver. And yeah, I mean, fair play to him, especially for this year, for winning a championship as he did. Like, I want the British drivers to do well, always want to. And ultimately, I just want to see good racing. I want to see a championship fight. And I want to get excited about F1. So, not excited to stay up till 3 a.m. to watch the race. Oof, that is early. Where are you in the world, Regan? Are you in the land down under? Is that where you are? That was my terrible Aussie accent there as well. I'm British and just root for Alonso. Minardi fan. See, Alonso I have a real love-hate relationship with. Sometimes I'm like, Alonso, you're bloody brilliant. And then sometimes I'm like, you're an absolute dick. Like, it's just... I really rate Alonso. I really do. But then sometimes he just bugs the hell out of me. Drogovic. Yeah, there's some good... to be honest, you know what? I'm going to make sure I watch the F2 tomorrow. See who the up-and-coming drivers are. New Zealand. Oh, dear. Yeah, that is early in the morning. So what time is it? I always get fascinated by it. I always forget the time difference between New Zealand. Are you 11 hours ahead? So is it like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning for you now? Sorry, in the evening. Is that right? I'm not famous by any means. Right, so there we go, guys. That is the session finished with. The hour has absolutely flown by because we had so much to talk about. So, Hamilton and Russell top the timing sheets there. Practice 1, make of that what you will. Of course, we always know practice 1 is really dialing in your setups, doing your long runs, because Russell did 11 laps on that set of softs there. And we had the Young Drivers program being run today. So Perez, Leclerc in third, Perez in fourth, Liam Lawson doing well to bring back Max Verstappen's car into fifth position. Vettel sixth. Come on, Vettel. We want a good send-off for you this weekend. We want a good send-off for you. Got screwed over by the safety car last week. He was on for a very good result and ended up finishing outside of the points. Schwartzman in seventh, Danny Rick in eighth. Good little drive there from him. Bottas 9th, Albon 11th, Albon 10th, Gasly 11th, Ocon 12th, Tsunoda 13th, Kubica in 14th, Sargent in 15th, Madison 16th, Fittipaldi 17th, O'Ward 18th, Doohan 19th, and Drogovic 20th. 13 hours ahead. Wow. Okay. Yeah. 12 a.m. right now. That's mad. My day's just getting started. And you're like, off to bed. 4 p.m. in Pakistan. December, but I hope this is the real pace we wait to see for FP2. Yeah, so I'll be keeping an eye out on FP2 this afternoon to see what's happening. You can go follow me over on Twitter, guys, at Stuffy. I'll be tweeting over there. I'm starting to tweet a little bit more. And of course, subscribe here. Post stuff on the community page as well. You're in 11 and a half hours ahead, Kaka. Wow. So, doing a practice start as well. Yeah, good night, Regan. Good night, buddy. So, yeah, everyone coming around. So, interesting. So, let's just have a quick check on Twitter and see if I've missed anything. Because wasn't listening to the commentary today. So, see if anyone has been tweeting anything of reference. Most of my Twitter timeline is people saying Twitter's gonna die and follow me here at Mastodon and stuff. It's just no, not really. There's no news that's come out. So we'll see. Internet in Pakistan goes every hour. Mine does in Pakistan, but I'm in England, so free internet, no cutouts. Happy days. I was coming home for England. Oh yeah. Do you know what? I'm not excited for this World Cup whatsoever. I don't know if anyone else isn't. It's just it doesn't feel right that the World Cup is in winter. Even the players don't really seem that excited for it. World Cup should be in the summer. It just gets everyone hyped for it when it's in the summer. In the winter, we care about league football. So Twitter will be fine. Elon knows what he's doing. It's only because Twitter is, So, cricket or football? I'm more of a football fan than cricket. Qatar is, yeah, well, exactly that. Yeah, funny enough, I was watching the. There's a new documentary on Netflix about the corruption in FIFA, and it's really interesting. Like, it's been going on for years and years and years, and it's just makes you shake your head. So let's go England. Let's go England. Yeah. So, but we've got an F1 race to have first before the World Cup kicks off on Sunday. So yeah, there's your P1 results there, guys. There's your P1 results. Not really too much to take from that. Let's have a look at who was the best of the young runners. So Liam Lawson in Max Verstappen's car. No shock there, really. Robert Schwartzman in a Ferrari. Carlos Sainz's Ferrari. Then we have Kubica in 14th. Not a young driver, but in the programme nonetheless. Logan Sargent, 15th. Fittipaldi, 17th. Pato Award, 18th. Doohan, 19th. And Djokovic, 20th. So, yeah. Interesting there, guys. Interesting. Let's hop back to... Yeah. Oh, dear. I forget that doesn't change. Excuse me. Give me 2 seconds. Let me change that font because that looks terrible. There we go. But, yeah, lots to talk about. Hope we got caught up. I was going to do a video. I was really, really annoyed about the Red Bull statement yesterday. Just really annoyed because the gaslighting, the continued gaslighting from that team is really getting on my nerves. But I held my tongue. I thought I'd wait for this stream. So, but yeah. Is that what Lawson said? Sorry, I'm used to driving further down. Cost cap fake step. Oh my god, that's a whole name you've come up with there. Crashed in Lewis on purpose. He will get karma next year. Well, I'm just hoping for next year, guys, that we have. I'd love to see a three-way fight. That's my ideal scenario. I'd love to see Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull go for it next year. That's my ideal scenario. If not, I at least want a championship battle that goes to the end of the year. Because, let's be honest, we knew Max had the title wrapped up at the summer break. Like, we knew it. It would have taken something drastic. Like, it would have taken for Max to get in an actual car crash and like break his leg for him not to win that championship that year. Or this year, after Spa. So, I just want something that goes at least until like the last couple of races. So we've got something interesting for the season. There's still been other talking points. Thankfully, Interlagos was a good weekend for F1 and for us fans. But I did go into last weekend very much like, I really don't have much hope for this race. Thankfully, proven wrong. Hopefully, Abu Dhabi is the same. But Abu Dhabi has a track record of not providing good racing. And whereas Interlagos does. So, Max did admit in the interview he didn't have the car, but he did crash in purpose. Well, this is it. He said he knew the gap was going to close, but he left it in there anyway. So, yeah. Let's hope that we have a battle next year, guys. I don't think it's not necessarily crashing on purpose, but it's very much of the attitude. Hey, Hero, thank you for the sub, buddy. It's very much the attitude of, well, if you don't move out of the way, we're crashing. And that's the attitude he had a lot last year. And Lewis backed out every single time. Even in Abu Dhabi, people, do you remember the first lap in Abu Dhabi when he went down the inside of the chicane? People went, well, that was Max's corner. Hamilton should have given that position back. Well, the difference there is that Lewis started to turn in. Lewis was on the racing line, started to turn in, and then Max was not in control of his car, and Lewis had to turn out of the way. If Lewis kept turning in like normal, there would have been contact, and there would have been probably a penalty for Max. But that would have meant that Hamilton's race could potentially have been over, and he had to finish the race because Max was ahead by more race wins. So there's a difference. Max didn't get punished last year, really, because Lewis always backed out. But the intention was always there. Now, do you punish on the basis of what potentially could happen, I don't know. But I think there's an element of going, well, yeah, you was out of control of your car, and it's only due to another car taking avoiding action that an accident didn't occur. And there should be kind of like penalties for that. That's my thoughts today. I don't know what your guys are, but I hope nobody ruins it like race decision. Just let them race. It's nice to see from Lewis. He ain't backing out. Well, there's no forced entertainment required this time around, is there really? There's no need for that last lap showdown. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a safety car. I think we'll need to see a safety car to make it any... Because Abu Dhabi, the track, the nature of the track, the field does get spread out quite a lot. The winner normally kind of drives off into the distance. So hopefully we get a safety car to bunch up the pack during the middle of the race. He was sent 6 attempts back, but he sent it. No way 2 cars are making it through there. No, because when you look at it, Max went all the way to the edge of the track when he went through that by making that move. Which meant that Lewis would have had to have, if he kept turning, just slam his brakes on? And completely come to a standstill? That's basically what would have had to have happened. So no, I get why Lewis moved out of the way. And he needed to go on. He needed to finish the race, didn't he? So... Well, last year, I didn't like the way Max drove. He got away with it. Brazil, how he didn't get a penalty for Brazil. The FIA was so against dishing out. So this is quite, I think this is quite the ironic thing. It's just come to me. It's quite ironic. I think the FIA was so against influencing the Drivers' Championship. They wanted it to be done out on track. They did not want they didn't want the championship to be decided by a penalty. But they ended up doing that anyway in the last race. So if that's kind of what their attitude was, they should have issued those penalties more so last year. So Go, Mark Verstappen next year. Yes, look, if you're a Max Verstappen fan, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. All fans are welcome in here, guys. I've never said anything of the sort. I'm happy to have debates and explain why I'm not so much his fan, and you're happy to explain why you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're all entitled to support who we want, just like we are with our football teams. And there shouldn't be this tribalism that has crept into the sport. But we shouldn't confuse, and this is what annoyed me with the Red Bull statement, going back to it, we shouldn't confuse criticism as abuse. Because that is what Red Bull is doing at the moment. There's always a small minority who unfortunately send out horrid abuse and should never be tolerated. But criticism should always be warranted. And I know we live in a sensitive world now, but if you do something that, to me, what Max did last week warranted criticism at Lewis and more particularly at Checo, people online and journalists and fans should be able to call that out and criticise him for it. That's not abuse. Whether you decide to listen to that criticism or not is entirely up to you, but that's not abuse. That is criticising a decision that you've made that other people don't agree with fairly. So, and that's what Red Bull's statement rolled me up a bit, because it's like, well, I personally didn't see too much. Personally didn't see any abuse. I just saw people calling him out for something that he did to his teammate who has done so much for him. Don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but that's what I was thinking. So, good luck to match for next year. Hope it's good. Yeah, exactly. We all want to see a hard-fought championship. That's what we want to see. Everyone will always have their favourites. It's like when you're watching a penalty shootout in football. There will always be, you'll say you're neutral, but there will always be one team that you're leaning towards. Sometimes you can't exactly you can't exactly pinpoint why you want that team to win, but you do. You're tuning into it as a neutral, but you go, oh, I want that team to win. Because maybe there's a player that you like on that team, or maybe because some random affiliation or something. I don't know. And it's the same kind of with F1 as well and all sports. Doesn't represent the sport at all. His demeanour is intolerable towards his opponents and his teammate and the whole team. Well, this is it, Anton. I think he showed kind of his true colours last week. Yeah, and the team are backtracking big time. They're backtracking big time. Checo has come out this morning and said he regrets saying what he did. Like, they're backtracking overdrive to get Max back on side again. Because they don't want to lose him and they don't want to piss him off and they don't want to piss his camp off. Which just shows to me Max runs that team. Everything that you're seeing now is due to Max going, no. Like, Monaco, I'm totally warranted in doing what I did because of Monaco. Regardless that I won 2 World Championships, regardless that Perez helped me in both of those World Championships, more so 2021 than this year. But regardless of that, no. I'm warranted. I had to get him back because of Monaco. Really? So I can guarantee you now, regardless of all this PR spiel that they're sending out, there's no way, there is absolutely no way that has been resolved. No way. Yeah, I'm British, TR. I'm British. It's the same train football. They're telling Perez to apologise, but I think Perez feels a little sorry, but Max has too much of a head to that. I don't think Perez is sorry whatsoever. I don't think he is. I want to see the interview to see how he comes across and says it. I think he's been forced to say it. He's been forced to say it. There's no way that... Like, why has Max not come out and apologised? Why has Max not come out and apologised and said, like, yeah, look, I should have... Everything got a bit heated and we should have... it was wrong on me. I should have given the place up to Perez. Obviously, I'll help him as much as I can this week. Blah 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 blah. He hasn't come out and apologised. Perez has come out and apologised to say, "Oh, it shows who he truly is after everything I've done for him." No, bullshit. Sorry, strong words, but whoa. Blows my eardrums that out. That does. Thank you, Kaka. Thank you for the donation, buddy. Fusscar is always novice driving with Lewis because he knows Lewis is better than him. He definitely drives different to Lewis. I thought we saw a more mature Max this year, driving against Charles Leclerc, and then of course those battles didn't really occur after like the first few races. But as soon as he had an opportunity to go fairly with wheel to wheel with Lewis again, he did that, and it's just you're just like you clearly haven't changed. Like, why was there any need to do that? Yeah. Even in Singapore, in quali, he screamed on the radio. I haven't seen the interview yet. Yeah, Max. Well, Max very much has a go at he's very hot-headed. He had a go at the pit crew, didn't he, in Kota? Even though he went on to win, he had a very strong response to his pit crew. That's the first slow pit stop they've had all year in Kota. And, like, he really went in on them. He still won the race, but afterwards he couldn't let it go. This is a man who holds onto things, clearly. He couldn't let it go. He won the race still because he had the fastest car. And he still made comments going, yeah, it's not good enough. I understand there's an element of, like, high performance and you don't want it to drop below that. But at the same time, there's no need to come out and publicly say it. And there's a way of going about things. Like, you won the race, you still won it really comfortably. I don't want this to be a Max bashing stream or anything like that. Like, it isn't. It's just that he has come to the forefront of the news this weekend. Like, really, we should still all be talking about how well Mercedes performed last weekend. How great of a recovery drive it was from Lewis to get back to P2 and George Russell's first win, but we're not. No one is really talking about that in the last week. Everyone's talking about the drama at Red Bull, and we shouldn't be. We should be talking about the good stuff that happens out on track. So, yeah, exactly. It's a team sport. It's a team sport, guys. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day. and not let Red Bull spoil it. Thinking that Red Bull spoil it. But yeah. Red Bull spent too much in their car. Yes, it did. Yeah, and conveniently, no one is talking anymore about the cost cap, are they? Was it intentional? Was it not? I don't know. But yeah, just a convenience thing, isn't it? So yeah, big thank you for everyone dropping by, guys. Have a lovely rest of your day. Unfortunately, I won't be here for practice 2. I'm out this afternoon, but I'll be keeping an eye on it. I'll be tweeting about it, and I'll be back tomorrow for practice 3 as well, and qualifying. So turn those notifications on. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit it now. Hit it, because we'll be back tomorrow. And just quickly, guys, how many likes are we on? How many likes did we get up to? 56. Hit the like button, because it'll help push the stream. So yeah. Oh, happy birthday of us. Happy birthday, buddy. Hope you enjoy it. So yeah, have a good rest of your day, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.